Chaitanya Nityananda So we're going to speak about real happiness, how to achieve real happiness through meditation. We thank you all very much for coming tonight. I always begin my presentations with offering my respects to our great spiritual masters, our teachers, who have brought this knowledge to us. And all the information that I'll be presenting comes from the Vedic scriptures. The Vedas are very ancient scriptures. Actually, they were written down 5,000 years ago. However, the knowledge itself is eternal. So, prior to being written down, it was passed down orally from one perfect master to the next. Such a line of perfect teachers is known as a disciplic succession or a parampara. And the parampara is necessary for the truth to descend in its pure form. We are in the parampara known as the Brahma Sampradaya. And we feel very fortunate to receive our knowledge through this lineage. So, this is not my opinion. See, I'm just passing on this eternal science. I will begin with the beginning. See, everyone wants to be happy, but we're going to have to understand who we are to even know how to begin to achieve this happiness. And the Vedas actually instruct us that we should all ask ourselves the question, who am I? However, unfortunately, we almost never ask this question. And the reason is we think we already know the answer. Now, of course, we all have our identities. We've had them our whole life. We have them in our minds. We have them on our lips. We even have them in our pockets. Meaning, this is who I think I am. This is who I tell others I am. And I can even prove it. Here's my passport, my driver's license, my documents. Now, we accept this, and so does everyone else. However, is this our true identity? And upon close examination, we discover this is only a compilation of many labels. And this labeling process begins at birth. So all of us here right now, as soon as we took birth, we received one of two labels, male or female. And we still identify like that today. I'm a man or I'm a woman. At that same time, we get another label according to our race, Caucasian, Negroid, whatever it may be. Our national identity can be very strong. I am Canadian. I'm American. I am British. I am German. You see. Our family identity, we belong to this family. And actually, this identity is so strong that every day on this planet, one person kills another person simply because they got a different label. And this is just the beginning. Many, many labels come and go throughout our entire life. So, once again at birth, we're also known as babies. Then kids, we start school. Now we're students. A few more years go by, we become infamous teenagers. And finally, adults. We take up some profession in life and we're known accordingly. Doctors, lawyers, secretaries, nurses. We get married immediately. We're a husband or a wife. We have a child. Now we're parents, fathers, mothers. A few more years go by, grandfathers, grandmothers. And this is how we see ourselves. When we think of ourselves, this is who I am, this is me. And this continues on and on until we finally get the last label, dead. But looking closely, we discover that this is only in relation to our material bodies. Of course, it's true. Our body is male or female, black or white, old or young, big or little, Whatever the body is, it is. Absolutely, that's true. The question is this who we are? Every day, we all take our pilgrimage to the mirror to see how we look. Sometimes we're a little disappointed. We always come back the next day. Gee, maybe there's been some improvement. See? But do we really see ourselves? So the question is, am I this material body? If we want the most authoritative answer, we should go to the revealed scriptures of the world. And there we will quickly learn, no, you're not the material body. However, this is the modern world. So, very rare does anyone go to Scripture to find the truth in life. However, we do readily accept the conclusion of the scientist. You see, we like the scientists because they prove things. And uniquely enough, in this case, the scientists have proven in their laboratories that we're not our material bodies. They have discovered there's no cell in the human body that lives more than 5 years. And some cells have a very short life. For instance, the lining of our stomach, those cells live 5 days. Our skin cells, 1 month. Liver cells, 6 weeks, etc. But in 5 years, everything has changed. So if I'm looking at a photograph of myself taken 10 years ago, the eyes in the photograph are actually different than the eyes I'm looking at the photograph with. They're actually not the same eyes. According to this scientific formula, if I'm 35 years old, I've had 7 bodies. But of course, we all know we're not 7 different people. Everybody knows, hey, I'm still me. So the changing factor is the material body. The constant factor is ourself. Yeah, we're not these material bodies. Now, at this point, some people begin to become introspective or meditative. They begin to look inside to find out who they really are. And when we do look inside, what do we find? Well, there's emotion, desire, sentiment, feeling, will, all very real. So it's easy to conclude, aha, this is who I really am. And maybe we even have some experience that reinforces this. Let's say that we're very emotionally upset. We recognize that when people look at us, they don't see us. All they see is the outside cover. See, sometimes we feel quite lonely. We might even say, gee, nobody really knows me. However, we must confirm this with the Vedic scriptures because they're very detailed in this knowledge. And when we do, we find we've made another mistake. You see, this is not who we are either. This is actually another material body. It's called the subtle mental body. Sometimes it's called the astral body. I know some of you have heard of the astral body. So really we have 2 bodies. We've got our physical body and then we have our mental body. Exactly like having on 2 layers of clothing. We have our outer layer and then we have an underlayer. But the question is still remaining, who am I? So once again, we go to the Vedas and there we discover that we are in a different category of energy. Now everything is energy. Our bodies are material energy. However, we learn that we are spiritual energy. We further learn we're a tiny little spark of spiritual energy. We learn that material energy is temporary. You see, very easy to see. We know all too well our bodies are very temporary. See, so much so we don't even want to talk about it. Hey, don't talk about that, see. But even the more permanent things like this building, come back here in 1,000 years. Gee, where was that lecture again? Temporary. We also learn that material energy is non-living. And once again, that's very easy to see. See, this table here, this microphone, there's no life. However, we learn that spirit is life itself. There is no such thing as live matter. There's no such thing as dead spirit. We are the life force in the body. As long as we're present in the body's called alive. Actually, that's not true. The body's dead, and we are alive. And that becomes very obvious at the time of death. At the time of death, we leave the body. And at that moment, the body reveals its true nature. Can't even sit in a chair. Falls on the floor, see? So we are the life force in the body. Therefore, our true identity is spirit soul. Spirit meaning that we're spiritual in essence. Soul meaning this individual spiritual spark that we eternally are. You see, we never become someone else. We never cease to exist. Now, for some people, that's very depressing news. What? I'll always be me? Gee, I thought it was going to be over soon. Sorry. It's never over. However, when we learn the truth in life, this becomes very wonderful news. So, once again, we are spirit soul. And we further learn that we're a part and parcel of the Supreme Soul. We are known as the Atma. And the Supreme Soul is the Paramatma. Now, understanding this, we can begin to understand this whole concept of happiness and how to achieve happiness.